possible shooting just occurred, 1809 Nichols Canyons Road.
Shot me. Tory shot me.
You shot me.
Tory Lanez has been charged with shooting artist Megan Thee
She knows what happened. I know what happened. We know that what you're saying is falsified information.
Not true.
Were you afraid for your life at that time?
I was really scared.
Tory's been behind bars since 2022 when he was convicted on 3 felonies related to shooting Megan after a house party in Hollywood 2 years prior.
Jay-Z, let me speak to you.
He has kids.
Rock Nation!
Yes.
Because my son refused to sign a Rock Nation deal with you!
You shot straight, but you shot late. Hi, Lib. This is the Rundown Podcast.
I'm gonna give you the rundown.
Hit rapper Tory Lanez is reportedly in a Bakersfield hospital tonight after he was stabbed multiple times while serving a sentence at Tehachapi Prison.
Rapper Tory Lanez was hospitalized after getting stabbed by another inmate at Tehachapi Prison in California. Authorities have identified the inmate accused of stabbing incarcerated rapper Tory Lanez with a self-made shank as 41-year-old Satino Casillo, who is serving a life sentence for murder. Casillo allegedly attacked Lanez, and whose legal name is Daystar Peterson, around 7:20 a.m. Monday in a housing unit at the California Correctional Institute in Tehachapi. The alleged assailant, Casillo, was sent to the California Correctional Institute from Los Angeles County in 2004 after being sentenced to life with the possibility of parole for second-degree murder, first-degree attempted murder, use of a deadly weapon, and inflicting great bodily injury, according to the CDCR. And to refresh some's memory about why Tory Lanez actually was sent to prison, it says that Peterson was sentenced in August of 2023 for shooting Grammy-winning artist Megan Thee Stallion, whose legal name is Megan Pete. He was convicted in December of 2022 of assault with a firearm, illegal possession of a firearm, and negligent discharge of a gun. After the incident, prison staff immediately responded, activated 911, and began medical aid to Peterson. California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation spokesperson Pedro Caldon Michael said in a statement. And Daystar Peterson, better yet known as Tory Lanez, was life-flighted to the nearest hospital, which was at Bakersfield. And this is where he received his care from those 14 stab wounds that he received all over his body from this inmate that was on a vicious attack, obviously a hit on the life of Tory Lanez.
The attack happened around 7:20 a.m. at the California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi, according to California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. That prison about an hour away from Bakersfield. Lanez, also known as Daystar Peterson, was provided medical aid after staff called 911. CDCR says that he was taken to an outside medical facility for further treatment. He is currently serving a 10-year sentence at the facility for the 2020 shooting of rapper Megan Thee Stallion. According to the CDCR, a jury found Lanez guilty of firearm-related charges when he shot Megan in the foot while she reportedly left a party at Kylie Jenner's Hollywood Hills home. That led to his conviction in August of 2023. Megan Thee Stallion was also granted a protective order earlier this year against Lanez until 2030, after officials say the rapper was harassing Megan from prison through his surrogates.
In details posted to Tory Lanez's Instagram page about what actually occurred there at Tehachapi Prison in Cali, as far as this Mexican Casillo stabbing Tory, and they said that Casillo pulled this stunt in the housing unit when Tory wasn't even paying attention. Kind of caught him slipping. And it says that Tory was stabbed 14 times, including 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed, and he was placed on the breathing apparatus. He is now breathing on his own. Despite being in pain, he is talking normally in good spirits and deeply thankful to God that he is pulling through. He also wants to thank everyone for their continued prayers and support. Almost 1 million likes is what this post garnered from Tory Lanez that was posted as an update as far as his well-being and how he's doing after this stabbing. The man accused of stabbing rapper Tory Lanez 14 times. He has a history of violence, including a murder conviction. And also, while incarcerated on January 3rd, 2008, he was sentenced to 6 years for assault by a prisoner with a deadly weapon of force likely to cause great bodily injury in prison offense. On June 12, 2018, he was sentenced to 2 years for possession/manufacture of a deadly weapon by prisoner in prison offense. Following the Tory attack, Jucario has been placed in restricted housing pending an investigation by the CCI Investigative Services Unit and the Kern County District Attorney's Office. A motive in the stabbing has not been released as of yet, but according to Spouter Loke, he talked to one of the inmates inside of that Tehachapi prison, and guess what? They don't even know what the real motive and why this Mexican attacked Tory. Wowzers. Yikes. And this right here is said to maybe cause a black against Mexican, right, riot once these guys come up off of this lockdown at Tehachapi prison there in Cali.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
What it do, cuz?
Yo, I hear you, bro.
What's Gucci?
What's cracking?
What it do, Fight?
Shit, nothing much to look, right? This morning, brother, the Mex came out and bust on the boy Tory. You know, they airlifted him and all that, so you know, that's gonna respond when we come off this shit. We're gonna respond the right way to that.
They laid the yard down?
No, it happened in the building.
What was it over? It was over some. What he had? Did he have a debt, a gambling debt, or something?
Nah, nothing like that. Shit, we don't even really know. We don't even know the whole situation, you know.
So it was just like some foul play. So it's finna be up.
Yeah, it did for sure with some foul play.
Damn, cuz. Wasn't nobody right there with him when it happened? Wasn't nobody right there with him when it went down?
Yeah, I guess nobody wasn't. He was by himself out there. He got a whole tier full of necks. He on a whole tier full of necks.
Wow.
But you already know, once we get off this shit, we press some play on. We press play.
I'm already knowing. God damn. You don't know if he gonna be all right or not either, huh?
Nah, we don't know yet. He gonna be all right there. He gonna pull through though.
That's right. That's crazy because I've been out here. I've been the whole time he's been going through what he's been going through. I've been feeling like that nigga got railroaded. I hate to see him in that position. I'm glad.
Man, for sure, he got railroaded.
Yeah, he got railroaded. I'm glad that
that's an innocent man in prison, bro.
I believe it, 100%. How he been programming in there? He been programming cool.
Man, all he do is program, come outside, work out, play ball, do him.
That's right. I heard it's been cracking up there too. It was a riot the other day, not too long ago.
Yeah, it was like I want to say like 3 weeks ago it was a riot.
Yeah, I got.
Like 2, 3 weeks.
You been straight though?
Yeah, it be cracking up here. Yeah, I've been straight. You know me, keeping my head up high. I got 4 months left.
Now, we have been hearing rumors of Tory Lanez possibly getting out of prison, you know, over the past few months. And now we have new evidence that has come out, and a press conference was done by this firm. These people are, you know, represent Tory Lanez, and they're saying, look, we have new evidence from a eyewitness who heard Kelsey, the friend of Megan Thee Stallion, who also took the stand and testified during Tory Lanez's trial. This bodyguard is saying, look, I overheard the conversations that, you know, Kelsey had during the time of the trial. And during that time, she said out of her own mouth, right, in front of the bodyguard to witness that she was the one that shot the gun 3 times. She had the gun. Tory grabbed her arm, right, making her drop the gun to the ground, which the gun discharged 2 more times for a total of 5 shots. Tory never touched the gun, according to the representative. And check out this press conference where they go deep into more details. Run it.
Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. The passenger side is where Ms. Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense?
The father of Daystar Peterson, better yet known as Tory Lanez, has been very outspoken about Jay-Z and Rock Nation and Desiree Perez, who he called a snitch. That's right. And wowzers.
And Desiree Perez, you wicked witch, you snitch.
Yes!
You turned on your co-conspirators, all the whole mafia, one of you that was peddling drugs in this country, and you ruled on them before so the Fed could give you a deal. All of you, trust me, I have intercessors, prayer warriors around the world, and they will not stop until you are cut off.
Yes.
You know, look at the chain of events that has happened since the father of Tory Lanez called out Jay-Z. You guys, is very, very suspicious that hit was put out on Tory in prison. But most people say, nah, this is just prison politics, because Tory was in there, according to the father of Tory Lanez. Tory was helping other inmates on appeals and things of that nature, helping them, you know, get released from prison if they really were innocent and they could prove it. Tory was helping with these appeals, paying money for other inmates, right, with this program that he had.
You have the power and the means to examine the evidence that has been presented even to the courts. This is a travesty of justice. And to allow my son to go back into that same situation, a kid that when he went to prison, one of the things he has done so far is through his music to open up the cases of over 467 people through his Hands of God project to help families who can't even pay for justice on behalf of their loved ones. There was a post showed up on YouTube recently, a young man saying, I'd like to thank Tory Lanez. I would like to thank Unite the People. I'd like to thank all of them for allowing me to be able to be taken off of 4 life sentences. 4.
Plus 74 years.
I'm sorry?
Plus 74 years.
Plus, like, I don't even understand that kind of math. How do you say to a human being whose lifespan is 70, 80, plus 74 years? 4 life sentences plus 74. This is who Daystar is, not what they've tried to make you think he is. He never stops seeking to help people, even from behind the prison walls. Governor Newsom, you have the power to bring my son home, and for all of the reasons that went before I even ascended this podium.
And he was recording new music also while he was in there, and he bragged about his new album dropping this summer.
She took my heart, filled it with nothing but pain.
Now, according to conspiracy theorists, Roc Nation, Jay-Z, as Tory's father likes to call out, and he's not scared of calling out Jay-Z, as he shouldn't be, right? And he's saying that, you know, Jay-Z is behind a lot of this because, you know, his son, Daystar Peterson, Tory Lanez, didn't want to sign with Jay and Roc Nation.
Jay-Z, let me speak to you.
He has kids.
Roc Nation!
Yes.
Because my son refused to sign a Roc Nation deal with you.
Now look at all this hell it's caused, right? His son's now in prison. They didn't want to look at the evidence. They railroaded him, and he's been living in prison all these years unjustly. So now we have a situation where the father is saying, look, you know, this is why they targeted my son. Despite Tory Lanez helping people out in jail and, you know, possibly freeing somebody with these appeals that he was helping file and pay for, right? These inmates were still out to get Tory, no matter what he did. And it was reports that he had put money on all the inmates' books for Christmas 2024. And all that doesn't matter, goes out the window when it comes down to prison politics. And they saying, according to reports, that Tory Lanez was, you know, shot calling and big balling because of his celebrity status and wealth. And they didn't like this, you guys. And this is results, you know, into these type of, you know, race clashes for power. Okay, and this is how it goes in prison, according to some. Now, I know many might wonder, well, what does Jay-Z have to do with this? What does Roc Nation have to do with this? Well, Roc Nation is Jay-Z's company, his music label, right? And by Daystar Peterson, Tory Lanez, cracking the code, as he said in the Instagram video that he put out a few years back, claiming that he didn't need to go through a record label. He didn't have to have a record deal. He was independent, because he cracked the code on how to make money with this new way of selling his music. And he made $1 million in 24 hours. And this right here was unheard of. And this right here was looked at as a threat. And obviously, the father feels like Jay-Z and Roc Nation is behind all these things, these nefarious things that are happening to his son, as far as his son being convicted.
Really pay attention to this. When I was with Interscope, let's say I didn't drop music for a solid year and a half. Tory Lanez made sure that his streams were about 3 million streams, like with all the music, 3 million streams a day. Off 1 million streams, an artist gets $5,000 to $6,000 every Friday or every other Friday, right? So that means that when I wasn't dropping and I was at home, some label was sitting on their ass collecting $15,000 a day off of Tory Lanez music. If I'm popping and I'm making songs, I'm probably gonna do around, like, let's call it 5 million streams. Let's just say that, just to make it easy, right? That means that someone's making $25,000 a day off of my music. So in 4 days, they made $100,000. Like, guys, let's do the numbers, guys.
I sold these shits to my fans for $1. People came, some people bought 20, some people bought 5, some people bought 60. It doesn't matter how much you bought. It was only $1. You spent $60, you bought 60. I need y'all to understand, one of those copies right now is going for 50,000, 60,000, 60,000. Yo, my nigga, and these are sold. They're sold. Go look at the list right now and see how small the sellers list is getting. Y'all don't understand what the fuck is going on? Y'all don't understand I just cracked the fucking industry? Y'all don't understand I just cracked this shit?
And Tory Lanez teaching this method of making money independently without record labels and music moguls, you know, siphoning and, you know, stealing their money, just to be frank with you. Well, this is very well not gonna turn out good for the music industry if this right here starts, to take off. And, this new way of making your own money independently would definitely crash the music industry. And Roc Nation is allegedly said to have been the ones that plotted against Tory. So it's obvious that the father of Tory Lanez is calling out Jay-Z because he feels that Jay and them is the ones that's behind all of this because of his son's newly found independent fortune, okay, without the need of having a record label. And now new evidence has come forward where, Tory Lanez could be free from prison. And, it was allegations that Roc Nation might have caught wind of that early. And this hit on Tory happens right after all this information is said to come forward and come out publicly. Now, according to this firm, since all these chain of events have taken place with Tory being stabbed and almost losing his life, and there's new evidence coming forward being that he's innocent, okay, they're saying that, look, we demand Tory be let out, okay, because not only is he innocent, right, this man who knows he's innocent and he holds information and knowledge that Tory didn't even have a gun. He didn't even touch the gun, right? We can't allow this man to die in prison, all behind something that he didn't do. Now, in the Instagram Live a few years ago, Tory Lanez was saying that they was trying to silence him, didn't want him to talk, right? Megan Thee Stallion was telling him to shut up, be quiet, don't say nothing. But Tory went live and, he said on that live that Megan was arrested, and I'm pretty sure that's what set her off because she had to rebut that. Hours later, she drops a video on her Instagram Live saying that Tory shot her. That's right.
I get out the car and it's like everything happens so fast. And all I hear is this man screaming, he said, dance, and he started shooting. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Were you afraid for your life at that time?
I was really scared because I had never been shot at before.
So, since y'all so worried about it, yes, this Tory shot me. You shot me. I never hit you.
When the original report came out, and it was a TMZ report about this, that, and the third, and there was gunshots in Kylie Jenner's house, and Tory Lanez goes to jail. They gave y'all all the facts of the juice of Tory Lanez going to jail, and this, that, and the third, and Megan getting arrested, and da-da-da-da.
And Megan getting arrested and da-da-da-da. And Megan getting arrested and da-da-da-da.
2 days after that, I get a call from Roc Nation that says, yo, we heard you're gonna make a statement about what happened, and it'd be in your best interest if you don't make that statement. So I'm like, oh, okay, I don't understand what the issue of me telling my fans, like, yo, look, it's not that serious of a deal. I went to jail for whatever. It's like, I didn't get for that 2 days why that was an issue. 2 days later, the TMZ report come out. TMZ reports, and have the surveillance now. Now they see the video of the arrest. You see Megan, you see me, and you see us all sprawled out on the ground in bathing suits and blah, blah, blah. Now the reports are starting to say, okay, well, everyone's pointing to different things. No one really knows what's happened, but nobody has ever said she got shot. Nobody has ever said she got shot. Not TMZ, not the police report at this point. Nothing is saying that she got shot. Soon as she sees herself on video with the bikini and the things like that, and it looks bad, she then comes out and says, yo, the narrative of me getting cut by glass, it's just not true. She doesn't point at nobody or anybody or say anything or anything like that. She just says the narrative that whatever came out of me being cut by glass is not true. I was shot in my feet with the intention to harm me and put harm and danger upon me, right? So, okay, cool. Like all of a sudden the affiliates of her circle start pointing like little subliminal fingers, like count your days and like I won't be around when you shooting at feet and like little funny things that they start doing. And I'm kind of like, damn, hold on, where are y'all about to take this? Because y'all told me not to make a statement, so I'm trying to figure out where y'all taking me to. I don't get it. So then at this point she goes live because people are not really understanding the story or whatever cases. She waits. She doesn't go on, a time when it's just a regular time. For y'all who don't understand, it was one of those things where me and her knew what was going on, but y'all didn't know what's going on. She went live on my birthday. This is put in public information. LA Times puts out an article, and in the article they say, this is the initial report. 2 sources close to the investigation said that she got cut by glass, and she said that she got cut by glass. So then it's like, people see that, okay, hold on, they're saying on the initial police report with Officer Santiago, whatever his name is, you can go look this up, this is on LA Times. That's when it gets to this point where it says, okay, they reported no gunfire wound in her foot. They just reported a woman with a foot injury. So you gotta understand, like, this is what's in their initial police report. This is just what's in the police report.
I ain't get cut by no glass, but let me tell you why they saying that. The police come, I'm scared. All this shit going on with the police. You think I'm about to tell the police that us black people, got a gun in the car? I didn't tell the police nothing because I didn't want us to get in no more trouble than what we was already about to get in. Crazy. The police finally let me go. I ain't go to jail. Them 3 went to jail.
She said that she wasn't arrested. She was taken to the hospital. The cops put her in the cop car, took her to the hospital for treatment. This is what Megan said. But I can imagine why Tory felt like Megan was arrested, because either he heard that or he heard and he seen her getting into the cop car, where she claims they took her to the hospital. But maybe Tory thought they were arresting her as well, okay? But why would Tory think they were arresting Megan, right? Because he did say she was arrested at that time when all this happened. So like Tory was saying in that initial report put out by the LA Times, right, and TMZ, they said that she hurt her foot on broken glass. It was never nothing about gunshots. All this was made up, and it was a plot and a narrative, to go along with Tory being the one that, assaulted Megan, instead of this fight that her and her friend Kelsey had going on that, was also a narrative out there, but it was never picked up. It was never the actual narrative that was used in the trial. No, they pinned it all on Tory, and they're saying it's a big conspiracy, all because of this code he cracked, you guys. Now, this whole incident took place back in July 12th of 2020. And she didn't make the accusation. Megan didn't say that Tory shot her in her feet until August 20th of 2020. That's how long it took these people to come up with this whole story, this narrative, this false narrative, as we know now, that's being alleged by the bodyguard that has information and knowledge that Kelsey, the friend of Megan Thee Stallion, who initially was reported to have got into it with Megan behind having a relationship with Tory as well. Now, this is where the whole plot twist come in at, with these 2 women getting into it, right? A violent altercation with a gun. And then they blamed it on the man in the end, when they said Tory had been sleeping with both Megan and Kelsey. It got nasty, you guys. So nasty that Megan was leaking from one of her feet. But hold on. She told the news that she was shot in both feet. But on the video footage of her walking backwards, she's only limping on one foot. So what's really going on, you guys? Well, we know now. It was all a lie. Allegedly. Now, the motive as to why Tory Lanez was stabbed is still unclear. But one thing is very clear, that they used a violent murderer, right, to take the life of Tory. But of course, he was unsuccessful, with Tory Lanez now recovering in the hospital. They said he's recovering faster than ever, faster than expected. Was it prison politics? Was Tory getting too big for the program there in the prison? Who knows? But many say, well, he was releasing music, bragging that he was running the yard, sending hits, putting bags on people there at the prison if things didn't go his way. Wow. Really?
Sent me to prison and all that it taught me is if it go down how to stab the shit out you. Tommies and bunkers, the knives, the thumpers, the lock and the sockets, to crack the shit out you. I call a shot on the yard, you a problem. My son out there hitting cash out the shit out you. Standing on business and standing on business. J pay the killers to stand on the witness. COs are hating, they banning my business. They claiming they call me with hands on the
Or was he just rapping? Was he just making music? Right? Just making things rhyme. No big deal. Well, who knows? But at the end of the day, we do know that prison isn't no joke. According to reports, Tory Lanez is recovering exceptionally, and soon he should be at the hospital. As far as the inmate who stabbed Tory, Santino Casillo, they're saying that he was the actual neighbor of Tory, right there next to his cell. They probably seen each other every day, obviously, right? And so this explains how, you know, Casillo could have possibly got so close up on Tory like that to give him those 14 shots with that banger, as they call it. Okay, they're saying this guy was known to make bangers, right? He was the sculptor, as they called it, right? They said Casillo would always get caught with these homemade bangers that he would make there, these utensils, these weapons to use during riots, okay? And they said he would make more bangers than Drake. Wowzers. Yikes. And even though they're saying there's no motive at this time, the prison there is allegedly talking and saying that Casillo, right, could have had it out for Tory Lanez because Lanez said something very disrespectful about Santino's wife. Okay? And this right here could explain what set Santino Casillo off. And they say, nah, he acted alone. It wasn't nothing about Mexicans against blacks or anything like that. This is what the reports are so far. Okay? And they're saying, nah, Casillo was just pissed that Lanez was saying disgruntled and disrespectful things about his wife there during this visitation that took place. And that's when all hell broke loose there at Tehachapi. And in a report leading up to the incident early that morning, they're saying that Santino Casillo was in his cell putting on boots. That's right. And Ali Sadiq told us, you guys, when the Mexicans put on boots in the penitentiary, that's a sign that it's about to be a jabbing and a stabbing. Wowzers. And right next door, because they were neighbors, Tory Lanez had no idea that the Mexican, Santino, had on boots. And all hell broke loose once those doors popped open. When Lanez made his first step up out his cell that fateful morning, the first thing he saw was a Mexican in boots.
Prepaid call from
Ephraim Byers.
an incarcerated individual at the California Correctional Institution, Tehachapi, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right, you hear me? So look, this is what really happened, right? So basically, we wake up early in the morning, right? For pill line, damn, my door opens, right? And I walk out, and the homie's right there standing there, and he calls me over, and he's like, Savage, come here. And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, bro, I'm about to get this. And I was like, who? He's like, Tory. I was like, for what? And he's like, this what he's on top. And I already told him, I don't play like that, bro. I'm going to get you if you don't talk. So then I was like, all right, don't trip. I'm right here. So then all of a sudden, that fool's door opens, that fool comes out, and then that fool runs up on him, and that fool starts stabbing that fool. But you can just tell that fool got his lungs punctured because when he was laying on the ground, he's right there yelling, help, please, stop, help. And you can just hear him breathing like, you see him coughing up blood and some more. But it's just crazy, all these little stories going around that aren't even true, talking about there's going to be retaliation and some more shit because if there was retaliation, it would have happened right there, you know what I'm saying? One of the black did try to hop up, and I told him, bro, you better sit down, bro, because if you hop up and get involved, you all know all the messages are going to jump, and it's going to be bad for you, bro. And you don't owe no money. How does a millionaire owe money in prison? That's you know what I'm saying? And there was no visits that day, so how the is there going to be some visit? I mean, I don't know if that really happened, but I know that day, the homie didn't tell me nothing about this boy talking to my picture. He got in my visit, none of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's what really happened. You feel me? I was right there. I'm a porter. I had to clean up his blood right there, mopping up all that fool's blood. I thought that fool died, but I guess not. But it's just crazy, all these little crazy stories that are going around that aren't even true. But that's really what happened from someone that was right there, seen the whole watched it happen. You know what I'm saying?
So y'all get in the comment section and y'all let me know what y'all think about this entire ordeal. And until the next time, this is OG Jucario TV with the latest in rap, hip hop, celebrity, and urban news. You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spending with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, man, hey, man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notification so we can slide whenever I get the drop. You already know what it is, man. It's deeper than Buddha her, you hear me? And guess what? I'm gone.